Let's activate your essential essence, baby. So, the important thing to understand around sensuality is that sensuality is not necessarily sexuality. Sensuality means being connected to the senses. So it means being fully alive, fully present with all of your senses as a human being. That's a very strong feminine trait, sensuality. This is a quality of presence. It's like being in meditation, in mindfulness all the time. Because let's say, I'm going to suggest a few practices. One of my favorite practices to really tap into our sensuality is sensual eating. This is something I discovered and I was blown away when I started doing this practice for myself. It brought so much presence to the way I was eating fruits. So I started my practice with fruits, and that's a practice that I love with fruits. And it's basically taking the time to, instead of just eating very unconsciously, I talked about this in the shower, right? Instead of just like going into the shower and just like showering, it's like how we can bring all of the senses. That's what I love, and I always encourage you in every of those lessons to create the atmosphere, to create the ambiance, to create the space, because the more you're gonna involve your senses, the more your sensuality is activated, and this is like this sweet little lubricant around your existence, that makes everything more juicy, more fluid, more pleasant, and it brings a sense of expansion, a sense of liberation, a sense of deep-rooted, honest presence, and a sense of embodiment. Like, I'm here, I'm embodied in my body. Like most of us, we spend a lot of time consciously or unconsciously numbing, because we don't want to feel the discomfort, because we have been raised in a society where we will do anything. It's also in our nature, and that's completely fine to want to avoid pain and run towards pleasure. But what we do here, understanding sensuality and understanding pleasure and understanding our sexuality as well, is making peace with that, running away from pain, searching pleasure. What we want is to be alive. The more you're going to allow yourself to feel pain, the more pleasure you will experience. The more you will try to avoid pain, the more you will avoid pleasure as well. So you become in this middle and you're completely numb to your own existence, and it's most of the time we're stuck in our heads or we feel terrible in our bodies. And the point is to, again, inner union and self-love, it's to bring all those pieces together again. So sensual eating, for example, you will start by touching your food and really feeling the texture and really feeling like the skin, and it's really like you're making love. Like for me, it feels like I'm making love to my strawberries or my mango, or if you follow me on Instagram, you know I'm always posting about those things and how I eat my fruits, because like I'm obsessed with this practice. And then it will be like smelling it and like actually like inhaling it with your nose and your mouth open, so you're like breathing in the fruits and you get all the aromas and all the flavors already. You can almost taste it. It's becoming more sensitive to all the subtleties of life. It's like a psychedelic experience, really. And then you can start to lick it and then slowly like bite a little piece and feel the juice like running in your mouth, and just play with the fruit, which will bring you out of your head and your thinking mind into your body, into presence. That's what I'm talking about, like an act of meditation. That's an act of presence. It's an act of being fully here and now. Because when you do that, let me tell you, you don't need, so I love to do a gratitude prayer, and I really encourage you to like pray for your food or send some love to your food, or take a moment every time you have a meal to just realize how magical it is that you have food on your plate, like how many souls were involved in it. Like it's just crazy. The people that had to plant whatever you're eating, grow it and water it, and like harvest it and then transport it and then sell it and then maybe transform it and maybe cook it for you, and here you are with this amazing food in your plate. You get to taste it. So it's right now as I'm talking, it's a mental process of like realizing, but when you come into sensual eating, it's an experience of that gratitude, because you slow down so much and you're actually so present that you actually feel how many souls were involved. You actually feel all of the subtlety of the flavor of one fruit, like all the flavors that are contained in one fruit. When we think it's one flavor, it's wild and it feels good. I'm talking about sensual eating, but bringing sensuality is bringing sensuality to the way you make your laundry. Sometimes I was like making my laundry by hand, and I remember just this quality of like putting my hand into the water and the soap and just being like immersed in the experience. So that will be my invitation for you to develop this quality, to develop this presence to life. It's like, how can you bring your senses into every experience that you're having? How can you turn up the volume of aliveness by bringing that? It's very exciting to your being. It feels so good, like when I talk about sensuality, I always want to move my hips and like feel it all, because I want to feel more. Again, that's so epic. So let's do it. Let's unleash our sensual essence and bring more sensuality to everything we do, the shower, the food, like just our day-to-day life.